Most people who've played Geometry Dash for even a short period of time have heard of the Demon List, a list of the 150 hardest rated levels in the game, going from easiest to hardest, with the level 150 being the easiest and slowly increasing as you go up the list until number 1, the hardest rated demon in the game. The hardest demon has always been a heavy focus in the Geometry Dash community. From levels such as Demon Park to set the bar for the ever-changing difficulty of demons in 2013, to the abominable mess of near impossible levels that make up the top 5 nowadays, top 1 demons have consistently served as landmarks to show how far players' skills have progressed in the almost 9 years since the game has released. Top demons that are able to take the number 1 spot and the people who verify them go down in history as legends of the community, and in some cases even gain attention from outside the small circle of Geometry Dash for pushing the bar of what we believe is possible. Usually. However, this isn't always the case. As previously mentioned, the Demon List is a catalogue of the hardest demons in the game that have been rated by RobTop. So, in order for a level to make it on here, it has to be given a star rating by RobTop. The majority of the time, demons that are considered to be a top 1 when they are released are reluctantly rated by RobTop and placed at their deserved spot as a result. However, levels that could have taken the coveted title of being a top 1 on the Demon List are sometimes overlooked for one reason or another. They are never truly noticed and only begin to gain attention for the impact they could have had after their time has long since passed. These situations are few and far between, however a few levels exist that can claim that they deserve to be our hardest demon but never received the honour. These are the forgotten top 1s of Geometry Dash. Wakropolis was an extreme demon that was published in July of 2016, nearly 2 months before the release of Scoop in Hell. This level is a super buffed and redecorated version of Wakropolis, a level from 1.9 that I've crossed paths with before and have some very strong opinions about. Wakropolis mostly consisted of gameplay that was very similar to the original Wakropolis, only much more likely to cause a severe wrist injury. It featured lots of very precise wave spam sections as well as difficult ship parts and frustrating timings. All these things combined resulted in a level that was harder than Bloodbath, the number 1 demon at the time. Wakropolis had decoration that was definitely to the same standard as other rated levels in 2.0. In addition to that, it was a top 1 demon, which is usually enough grounds for RobTop to rate something even if it sucks. However, something strange happened. Unlike previous occasions where RobTop was willing to rate levels with average deco that obviously hacked looking back, Wakropolis was completely ignored by him. Apparently, RobTop disliked the original Wakropolis so much that he wasn't willing to rate Wakropolis just because of it being a remake of it. Because of his magnum opus being left unrated, BlastCFB was mostly unnoticed as a player. It's only in recent times that people have started to give him attention for his skills. Wakropolis was far harder than Bloodbath and even gives some competition to Scoop in Hell in his difficulty, meaning that it could have been top 1 up until the release of a Thanatos. This level being rated could have caused BlastCFB to be listed as one of the greats of the game's history, up alongside Trustus, Sonics and maybe even Riot. However, that will not be the case without the level being included in Stormfly's Hardest Demon video, because most people won't know it exists unless it is now rated. It is stupid that BlastCFB went so under the radar as a player simply because RobTop didn't like an easy demon from 1.9. Wakropolis is still shit though. Angelic Blood was an extreme demon created by iVirus for a creator contest that was hosted by C1997. This level wasn't accepted into the creator contest as its song was banned for being too overused in levels. As a result, the level didn't receive much publicity, with the most viewed video of the level having only 64,000 views. The gameplay of Angelic Blood is similar to Bloodbath. It is mostly carried by long and tight straight fly sections as well as difficult wave, cube and ball parts that fill the time that isn't spent on stupidly tight ship parts. As a result of the difficulty of the straight fly in the level as well as the other parts being of a similar difficulty, the level was considered harder than any other rated demon at the time, which could have earned it the title of being the hardest demon. In terms of decoration, it also looks very impressive for 2.0 standards. Quasar was releasing previews of Bloodlust at the time that Virus was creating this level, and the inspiration shows in some parts, mostly in the multi-game mode corridor at 46%. The designs throughout Angelic Blood are considered good looking from start to finish, and combined with the blue colour scheme, managed to fit the climax of At the Speed of Light better than any Hell theme level has so far, even by today's standards. The decoration of this level would have been feature worthy for definite at the time, and with the late 2.0 style making a return now, this level finally receiving a star rate doesn't seem like a far off possibility. Unlike Wacropolix, where the reason for it not being rated was incredibly unfair, Angelic Blood wasn't rated for a reason that was arguably more stupid than anything else. RobTop just never saw it. So, without RobTop seeing this level, it was left forgotten. It was only later in early 2.1 that Virus would begin to gain attention from RobTop with the release of Artificial Dream and Hyperparacosm. Recently, Angelic Blood has begun to gain attention again as a former hardest demon. It is a shame that this level was left unrated, as it would have been an actually unique of At the Speed of Light in the top 1 demon, which would have helped it to stand out, and the level may have allowed its creator to be remembered for more than making ugly early 2.1 extreme demons. The next level is one that I was quite hesitant to include for several reasons. This level is by far the most well-known and least interesting of the 4 levels that deserve a mention here. It is the only one of these 4 levels to eventually receive a star rating. It is the only level with next to zero interesting history behind it. It is a rehash of parts from other levels, and above all, it is a Hell-themed mega collab. However, since I cannot find any evidence of this officially being placed at number 1 on Pointer Crate's demon list, it still counts. This level is, of course, none other than Crimson Planet. Crimson Planet was a fairly short mega collab hosted by True Omega. It was verified by Wuxi on May 19th, 2018 and was uploaded to True Omega's account. Crimson Planet is a mix of everything that is expected from a generic top 1 extreme demon. Most of its difficulty lies in ship and wave parts, with some awkward segments of other game modes thrown in so that the level doesn't become a medium demon for 240Hz players. This level is incredibly short, at just over a minute in length. However, the difficulty of all its parts in combination were enough for it to be considered harder than Bloodlust by a significant amount. The decoration of Crimson Planet is very average for mid 2.1. No parts of it look offensively bad, but there is nothing that stands out as being incredible, even for its time. Some parts were made for Yatagarasu, which explains the out-of-place bird in Terran's part. However, they don't look worse than any of the parts made in 2.1. Overall, the level was good enough visually to warrant a feature, a statement which RobTop seemed to agree with when he eventually rated it. Crimson Planet had some relatively high-profile people involved with it, such as Metalface221, Zimnior12, Jakob Nugget, and the guy who ruined Yatagarasu. Despite all of these recognisable names attached to the level, RobTop seemingly just forgot about it and didn't rate it. My guess as to why this is because RobTop got distracted by Danalex releasing the exact same level for the 3rd time that week, and only decided to come back to Crimson Planet a year later. Crimson Planet is by far the crowning achievement of Wuxi's career. Whilst Wuxi is now regarded as arguably the best player of his time, his top 1 verification being rated on release could have seen far more people remember his name for how great he truly was. Crimson Planet was verified only 3 months after Bloodlust and 8 months before Zodiac was verified by Xander556. Had it been rated in a timely fashion, Bloodlust's incredible reign of 382 days would have been shortened to a rather pathetic 88 days. Whilst Crimson Planet was eventually rated and has since enjoyed the privileges of being a top 10 and top 20 demon, it unfortunately won't be remembered as the true level to finally top the most legendary top 1 in Geometry Dash history, and instead of going down as someone who was far ahead of his time by almost a whole year, Wuxi will be remembered by most who come across him as just another guy who verified another generic Hell-themed extreme demon, which is still the case, but it is a shame nonetheless. The final level that deserves a mention is one that was absolutely shafted due to how unknown it was. It was the discovery of this level's existence that caused me to make this video in the first place, as even after receiving a documentary covering its verifier and its history, the level in question still remains unnoticed by most GD players. Diabolic Clubstep is a buffed and redecorated remake of an impossible 1.9 demon called Satanic Clubstep. This level was a solo project by a relatively unknown Russian player named Savant, who worked on the level over the course of 4 years and finally verified it on September 1st, 2021 after 171,272 attempts. The gameplay of Diabolic Clubstep is designed to test the player's skills at almost every game mode feature from 1.9. The level has a similar pre-drop to Tartarus, followed by a drop consisting of tight wave parts, difficult timings, and of course plenty of straight fly. The difficulty of every part combined resulted in a level that was harder than Tartarus. The decoration in Diabolic Clubstep is fairly decent. While some parts of it are admittedly somewhat lacking and empty, the upgraded 1.9 style allows the level to give off a distinct charm that very few other extreme demons manage to achieve. This level's decoration manages to look like just enough of an upgrade to be worthy of a rating, whilst not going too overboard and leaving something that feels over-decorated and soulless, although that may just be my opinion, as I seem to be drawn to levels of this style. As previously mentioned, Diabolic Clubstep's deco would have definitely been good enough for it to be rated, as by this point, Sari Neverclear, Hard Machine and Silent Club had all been rated, despite all being of a similar or lower quality to Diabolic Clubstep. However, Savant himself stated the reason why this level was doomed to go unnoticed, and it goes back to a problem that has been seen previously. This level was not well known at all. Even Savant himself said it had been forgotten by all but a few thousand. It is only recently that people have started giving Diabolic Clubstep the recognition it deserves, and that recognition is mostly owed to the exposure that the level was given by Blue. And even after that video, the level's verification sits at only 31,000 views, which is minuscule by comparison to the millions that other Extreme Demon verifications sometimes receive. If you are active in the GD community in mid to late 2021, you probably noticed the obsession with levels that were advertised as harder than Tartarus. For over a year, Tartarus had been the top 1 demon, and seeing it permanently be moved down from that spot seemed like it would never happen. And this was the case until Slaughterhouse and Firework were verified in late October 2021. However, whilst people were praising Space UK and Trick for verifying the levels that were still top 1 demons, most were unaware that calling Space UK the verifier of the demon to dethrone Tartarus wasn't actually true, as Savant had verified Diabolic Clubstep almost 2 months earlier, which was the first level to be harder than Tartarus for definite. Even almost a year after the verification of Diabolic Clubstep, Savant is nowhere near well known enough, despite verifying a new top 1 demon as a side effect of pulling through with a passion project of his. Savant's sheer dedication to a level as hard as Diabolic Clubstep for over 4 years on its own is deserving of being commended, but he deserves even more praise for being the person who finally topped Tartarus, an achievement that many saw as impossible for a very long time. So those were the 4 main forgotten top 1 demons from Geometry Dash's history that actually have evidence to support their legitimacy. There have been countless other levels that have been swept under the rug that could have taken the title as a top 1, but those have been forgotten for a good reason, such as in the case of Sakupan Realm, which was forgotten because it looks absolutely shit, and also because the verifier couldn't even be asked to check if he was uploading the right video for the verification. Top 1 Extreme Demons being left unrated is a very uncommon occurrence in the GD community. However, it is not as uncommon for other Extreme Demons to be ignored by RobTop and moderators. There's a myriad of reasons as to why levels that seem rate-worthy don't get rated. Sometimes it's due to a bias against the verifiers or creators of a level, sometimes it may be due to a lack of originality or the level not meeting quality standards, sometimes it's due to the level being inaccessible due to a high object count or a song that isn't on Newgrounds, and sometimes popular rate-worthy extremes aren't rated for actually valid reasons. It isn't a huge problem if these levels aren't rated, as if people truly like them, then they will beat them, regardless of if they're rated or not. However, to most people, the incentive of list points and stars as a reward for completing a level will draw them towards beating a level, and by default, ones that don't have any major incentives to beat them besides clouds will be less popular. This problem won't ever be fully resolved, as until the end of time, levels that deserve to be rated will be forgotten. However, bringing attention to the levels currently that aren't rated and deserve to be has to be a step in the right direction in some way or another. I guess the main takeaway from this is play Stumble Guys instead of Geometry Dash. If you're going to spend all your time on your phone, you might as well spend it with your friends instead of trying to wrap your head around RobTop's stupid, ever-changing standards for what is good enough to be given a star rate.